We're alive.
Yo, yo, yo.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the
Mm-hmm.
151st episode. Oh, no, 151st episode of
Yep.
DevKami. And I am Chilium.
And I am
And I'm
Jason.
swimming. And I am swimming. And the microphone is too high, but I don't care. As who the hell is it? You know why Anakin died? Because his master had the high ground. This is what happened with the microphone. The microphone had the high ground. I shut up.
Mm.
Let's start.
What
You
are we
know
talking
what?
about today?
I have no idea. I have no plan. I'm just going to show some random stuff and see how it goes from there.
Yeah, let's talk about the news, like what's going on
Yes.
for the
So
past week.
let's correct.
Oh, what?
So let's
The
start.
events?
Oh,
It
yeah.
will. Chances
If
is
there's
nothing
anything
happen,
happening.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
nothing's
we
happening.
won't have anything happening until next month. And next month supposedly to be Halloween. Maybe we'll do a Halloween episode. We try to come up with some horror story or something. I have no idea what to do, except my current workplace. My current
Yes,
workplace do
you had to
celebrate
do dressed
Halloween.
up.
Yes, and we have to do dress up. I have no idea what to do. I might just
Mm-hmm.
bring this Pokeball and call myself a Pokemon trainer because a Pokemon
Like
trainer is a
that
very
is
low
that
effort thing.
is that like the lowest effort challenge? Like
No, no, but it will be a very low effort way to do that. I mean, technically, a lower effort way is to wear a black shirt. Unfortunately, I don't have muscle. Otherwise, I can pretend to be like Johnny Bravo or something. Just add a weight. So either way, my current workplace have to do Halloween, and that's next week. For us, we won't have holiday. I'm an American, so but
yeah,
we will try our best to do
we got
something.
plenty of holidays anyway.
Yes, but for DevKami, we will try to have something scary. I hope. I do not know what scary thing we'll do. Either we're going to do scary game or we're going to talk about IT horror story. I have no idea which is which, but that's next week. So either way, nothing happened next week for events, so we should move on. First thing in the news, not in any particular order. First, okay, it's not this is not the first. This is actually like this is a segue actually. I beginning to build the bus maker services for DevKami. So this is actually a link submitter, but unfortunately I won't make it public because these have a request component. I don't want to people use this as a vector to do attack lah. So this is actually a service to submit URL and store and generate our bus corner and use it whatever else. But it's a work in progress. I will test it later. And the next thing on the news, I will ask you guys your opinion later, but let's move on first. Next one, again, not in any particular order. So, Raspberry Pi Foundation and Lego actually show off their new collaboration. This is actually very new because I thought this is actually an unofficial thing, but apparently it's official. So it's a Raspberry Pi head, built head for Lego. So you see the port on the side. Those are for Lego motors and all that. Uh, do they have a yeah? There's a product. Okay, I'll go to product page later. So meaning you can potentially use the existing Lego Lego motors, especially to actually build robot from it, because a lot of Lego motor is once you have control the motors, then you can control the gears and all that. You can do very interesting innovation. What is a bit of a bummer is you need an external power supply, and from what I see, this is actually something you connect to the plug. So it's possible to power from USB. So but you want the bottles, you need an external
I
power
think
supply. And
there's
this,
not enough of the power supply by the board. I think
yeah, correct. Because the motor is actually pretty powerful, actually.
because the Pi also got more powerful, it also got more power hungry.
Correct. So
Components.
they also feature the type of component that you can use with. Yeah, here you are. Actually, I don't know. Come here. Anything here? Okay, it's the same thing from the page. So there are actually a list of components that you can use this for. I find this
So this
interesting
is a
because
head that you can like if you have the Lego parts, you can
yeah,
just hook them up. Is that
correct,
so?
correct, correct. Well, there's a list of compatible one. I strongly believe that you can you can. Let me double check.
Good.
I had I have suspicion that this may be only usable. You can only get it on certain set of Lego. I could be wrong, but okay. Yeah, technique large motor. Possible. It's possible, and also interesting because Raspberry Pi is a very powerful platform, so you can do stuff that is beyond Lego development environment. So take things that include machine learning, AI. Uh, you can build a trebuchet and all that. Yeah.
Is this
Any
powered
opinions?
directly from the Pi, or does it have like an external power?
There's an external power because the motor need that power.
Yeah. So how does it come from an AC adapter, or do you plug in directly to
Yes,
AC? Because this
yes.
is for the Pi, right? This is a USB-C for the Pi. But what
No,
about
this
the network?
actually connect to the head.
Oh, okay.
This
And
connect
then
to the
the
head.
hat powers the Pi. All right.
Correct. And also, I think it's a bit of bummer because you can't build a mobile robot with it. But there is still a lot of interesting things you can do that is stationary, like a
Yeah, it's
trebuchet.
going to be difficult to do mobile if it has to be plugged into AC,
Correct,
right?
correct, correct. Which is
Unless
a
you can
bit
have
of
like
a
5 volts, 3 amps. 3 amps is a lot of wattage for like
correct.
if you're going to step down something. Yeah, the uh, the ICs for power, like changing usually for like your or for like uh,
Mhm,
transforming up from 3.7 for your lithium or 4.2 3.7 to from your lithium up to 5
mhm.
volts, or stepping down from like double, like from a power bank. It's going to be quite difficult. It's expensive for those
Correct.
for 3 amps 5 volts.
Yes, but as the example project is seen here, that for stationary project, there is still a lot of opportunity to be creative. So I think the opportunity is there. And one of the demo that I show here is actually connecting through the GPIO, access to the GPIO, and I think that is useful uh, for other things. So, for example, you want to be creative about your weather sensor, or add your AI camera so that you can shoot at people, etc., etc. I'm excited despite the limitation, but I probably won't get it so soon. So, shall I move on? Yes, we should. uh, Alibaba had doing their VIS5 chip instead of an ARM9 server chip.
Yeah,
So yeah,
apparently the naming convention is like following one of the Jin Yong novel.
yes, strength here.
Yeah,
So I
that's
think
it, because
is
also they one of the thing I saw Yi Tian in that.
correct.
Yeah.
Because all these are legendary, you see. So
Which novel is
these,
that?
yeah,
Is that a Shield Hero novel?
The Dragon
is
Slayer and the
the Condor
Heaven Sword.
Hero. Condor
Yeah.
Hero.
No, it's
Is it
not.
It's part of
Condor
the.
Hero?
Is
Is
that
in
is
the
part?
Condor Hero universe.
Yeah, it's within the trilogy,
Mm.
Yeah.
but it's the last of it.
Yep. So yeah, interesting. Not something you can get off the shelf. I hope. No, I hope we can, but I doubt that we can get it. And also, even we get it, we don't have motherboard to set it up as a personal PC and all that. But it's still very interesting. Very interesting for tech company to be able to make their own hardware. So, for example, one thing that we don't show here is actually Apple also do the same thing. The processor shows very interesting capability, and also show very good power consumption and power balance. So the only catch is you have to use Apple product to get that capability, which most people that's fine. That's fine, right? No, I'm PC user, so I just hope the innovations go through. So yeah, I'm Anything you want to add? If not, I'm going to move on.
No.
So this is actually a vector database for unstructured data. What does it mean is that this is actually primarily used for machine learning application, building chatbot especially. So you will store text on this, then you will convert the text as a vector. Then your
Is it from China? Because
because
I see a lot of on the list. There's a lot of Chinese companies.
very likely. I found this indirect. I find this indirectly. I find this indirectly through an application, a chatbot application. So, but this is the database that can be used to power it.
Apparently the one that behind it is LF AI and data, which is LF means Linux Foundation.
Yep.
It's I think umbrella under the Linux Foundation.
Yep. So yeah, if you're not on machine learning, you probably don't need it. But I just find this interesting because that's one way for you to actually create infrastructure to make things easy for you to do your machine application. Anything you want? Any opinion? If not, I'm gonna move on.
No.
I'm moving on. So there's actually
I'm gonna try out though.
Yeah. So there is actually a move recently in the Python world to actually remove the GIL.
Yep.
In this case, it will also break a lot of existing C code. GIL
depends. I think it depends on how they're gonna do it. But the guild was there to make memory sharing easy because it's just a global lock.
Correct.
It's a and also the coding convention for Python has to be changed once once the concurrency support are built in.
Correct.
Right now it's a very simplified model. People talk about it all the time, but it's gonna definitely meet some behavior different because right now the memory model, and I mean there are some unsafe way. I mean if you look at how certain syntax work in Python is unsafe that need to be addressed before this is implemented.
Correct. So
something that triggers me is something that people just ask for it without realizing the implications.
Correct.
It's not like I like Q. It's just that people should understand like what it actually the convenience that brought over were actually powered by the simplicity of the language is actually powered by the GU.
Yeah, GIL is a way to implement concurrency.
Yeah.
Such that it's like because you know exactly when things get inserted into your memory variables, right? Like if you have an array and you insert
right now everything is atomic.
Exactly when it happens.
Yep. Right now everything is atomic.
Which is one way of doing concurrency. Just make everything atomic and everything is locked whenever you insert.
It's gonna break a lot of. Especially when if the best practices were not being exercised, and it's gonna break a lot of codes.
Correct.
And it's gonna break a lot of C modules, also, depending on how it's gonna.
Most likely, how they want to approach this most likely is to have the guild as a default, but then have a switch to do like super concurrent or whatever, like without guild.
Correct.
And then if you get performance improvements, then great. Most likely you won't.
That's one of the example like being listed. That code is unsafe in Python. The one that when sweemeng closely, it doesn't just affect the C code. The coding practices has to be changed because right now everybody just got used to everything being atomic in Python.
Yes, and
it's
also,
an interesting thing. It's just I'm just got triggered by just ignorantly ask for the removal of guild without understanding what guild actually brought them. Yeah.
And also not to mention that removing guild is not it's not something free that automatically make your code fast. It's not this kind of thing is never free.
No, but my code is slow because there's a guild. So therefore you should remove the guild, and then Python will be fast.
Yeah, but then
So
but then you
now
have to
you
do
have to do
locking
more work.
yourself. You have to do
Yes,
multexes and things like that.
Exactly.
correct. So as I said, it's not free. So if you know what you're doing, congratulations, go ahead.
Like
Most
as
people
simple
don't.
as simple as this. Let's say in the long running process, let's say I have a for loop
Yeah,
and I have a global variable.
yeah,
Let's say it's a reference type like
yeah,
and a dictionary, which
yeah,
or object for those that are familiar with
yeah,
JavaScript. So if one of my function that is to serve a request that is what we call a worker. If I have two workers spawn and each of them are trying to access the same array, that's gonna be a race condition.
correct.
But Python actually made it so simple that don't have to worry about this because
Yeah,
of the queue.
you can
Yeah.
have a race condition because you have the guild to support you.
Yeah, because you don't know the memory that you are reading are atomic or not.
Yes, correct. So one of the ideas is like efficient message passing and all that. There's way to do that when people suggest that Python is slow because of guild. Well, modern day applications are not run as one application. It's multiple application runs on multiple servers and all that.
It could be it's useful when you can like make use of the multi-core thing.
Yes, correct,
But
precisely.
like I mean as a old Python programmer from 2.5, like I've been using multiprocessing anyway.
Yes.
But it's efficient because we just copy over the thing. But that's how processes work.
And me, for one, despite a lot of we have to everybody want to go to that direction, I just have to watch and learn along the way lah. That's my thing, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's not that I'm trying to defend it. It's just that
Yeah, correct.
we should appreciate what Q brought us, and now it's the upcoming change are not gonna be simple as well.
Correct.
It's not just as simple as just removing it.
I'm going to put this at the last because it's relevant to what you said just now.
And there was a old project called Untitled Swallow as well.
Yes,
Yeah,
I remember. So a machine learning software caught a person. I thought they are a bus, and misread
I don't know what to say about
word
this.
on the misread the word on the clothes and translate it into a wrong car plate. So luckily, this thing here is resolved without incident. So both the authorities is reasonable in this way. So
it's a pretty low risk thing. Fortunately, it's just that
yes,
it also raised the awareness that we might have too much of a hubris sometimes to give
correct.
total trust to this. And let's say if this is used by the police, it's gonna cause a lot of trouble for some people.
Yeah, we the people need to remember this. Software are not automatically work, and it's not automatically fair. And it's not automatically.
It's not that we
correct.
shouldn't build. It's that we need to be. I mean, the hubris needs to be like not there. Like like it's not like my system is gonna be perfect. It's
correct. No such thing.
At least a way for us to be able to audit it or intercept things if it goes wrong.
Yeah, the silver lining here is that now we have a new category of yo mama jokes. Yo mama so big, it trips the.
Okay, we already covered
camera.
Choose the car sensor.
I'm going to move this a bit back as well. And we're going to talk about it, but a bit later.
Yeah, I think, have you read the code? You just have to scroll down. It's a really bad case of it's a string concatenation.
Okay.
For building the SQL query, basically the first one. Yeah, if you can zoom it, you can actually see it very clearly. The dot is actually concatenate. So it's a very low level mistake.
Yeah, we just talked about this like a few weeks ago, right? Like SQL injection.
Yes, and I will actually scold myself and jump out the building if I do this myself.
Well, this
No,
this
I
is
won't jump.
It's
worse in
it's
yeah,
avoidable
it's
by having like it's not so efficient, but might be avoidable by what you call it, code review.
Yep, correct.
well, yeah, and this is worse because there's an open source project, right? The source
Yep.
code is available, so someone can
Yes.
just take a look at all of the concatenation things, and even before
Yes.
the CVE is given, most likely this has already been being used like
Correct.
as an exploit because
Yes.
the people who are exploiting it doesn't have to report it to the CVE.
Correct. Correct. So it's bad. Interesting story. Read it. It's interesting. Next one.
Yeah.
This is a new prime. It's not a new prime number. It's the new machine prime number. So this the number is 8 MB of zip file. So it have 17 million digits. We calculated with three uh 360,000 CPU on 150 trillion calculation. So this is interesting for mathematical review and in practice also interesting because uh, encryption are done by a factor of prime numbers. So yeah. So yeah, you had a new machine prime, the number 48 one. It's not that much actually.
What's it? Oh, okay. Let's explain a bit. What's the difference between machine prime with if the prime that
Normal prime.
denominator?
Okay, so a machine prime means that the n must be a prime and so one of the conjectures is essentially like this. If n is a prime number, so let's do this conjecture. 2 to the power of n minus 1 is a prime, right? So let's find the prime of n. So the first one is 2 to the power of 1. 1 is not a prime. 2 minus 1 is 1. 1 is not prime. But here's the cool one. 2 to the power of 2 is 4. 4 minus 1 is a prime. So 2 is a machine prime. Then it's 3 a machine prime.
I
2
don't
to the
think
power
that's-
of 3 is 8. 8 minus 1 is a machine prime. I'm going to do a
But that means 57,885,161 is a prime as well.
yeah, that number is a prime. So I'm going to open. No, what the hell am I thinking? I am on the machine prime. I am on the machine prime page. What the hell am I thinking? Let me see machine the map.
Yeah, the math. Let's see. No, yeah, I've always thought it's this one, that yeah, it's 2 to the p minus 1. It's so a Mersenne prime is a prime that can be represented as a power of 2 minus 1.
Yeah, correct. I think the
I don't
Wikipedia had a
think
better one.
Yeah, I don't think the power needs to be prime at all. I mean, it might be a new category as well, like a special Mersenne prime or something.
Yeah.
But I guess it's easier to raise a power to a prime because you're
Yep.
definitely sure you have a better chance of getting a prime. Because if you raise it to a composite number, then of course
Yes.
it's divisible by like a factor of that composite number, right? So
Correct.
most likely most of the I don't think it's special that the power is a prime, but more like the
So-
format is 2 to the n is minus 1 is prime.
So a machine prime is a machine number. This is called a machine number, right? A machine number. There is a prime, but in order for the machine number to be a prime, n must be a prime. This is true that, and so blah blah blah. So in short, for this one it must be a prime number. Oh, interesting. 2 is not a prime number. 2 to the power. Why? Okay, I feel. Oh no, 3 is a result of 2 to the power of n of 2 minus 1. So machine number, so you had a set of machine number, but not all machine number are prime. But not all machine number are prime. For example, but n must be a prime. So this is the conjecture. That's what I'm saying.
So I
but the
wouldn't
thing
say
is-
that that's the requirement. It's just the being a Mersenne number is that
Yeah.
it's 2 to the n, which is prime, and then if you and -1 is prime, then it's a Mersenne prime. It's just that
Yeah.
if you raise 2 to a composite number,
Yeah.
-1, I'm not sure if it's all. I most likely it's going to always be composite. I
Yeah,
don't know.
it's
I'm
not
not sure.
necessary. There's no guarantee for it to be prime. So, for example,
Mhm.
4 is
Yeah.
16. 2 4 8 16. 16 minus 1 is 15. 15 is had a factor of 5, so it can. So as a result, 4 cannot be a Mersenne prime,
Mm-hmm.
right? So yeah. So either way, very interesting. It's just another way to find use for prime number. Also very interesting because this thing are used for computation and all that, test computers and all that. So it's very cool. So let's move on. I just love this kind of game. Which, by the way, after next one will be Advent of Code season. So yeah, I wonder what's the question.
No, it's December, right?
Yeah, it's December. It's always 1st of December. So off topic again. One of the wish lists I want to do for Advent of Code this year is to do animation, because I discovered film library, but I don't know whether I got time. Last year I can do it because last year I didn't do animation. I already take out a lot of my time, and during that time I literally jobless, as in I'm on my long holiday. It's take my time, so I do not know whether I'm able to do animation when I have a day job. So let's move on. This is actually a story of GitLab from YC, Y Combinator to IPO. They're already on IPO on 14 October. So the whole article is really about the culture and what they're trying to do, and I think this is actually very cool. Not because it's good to not just because it's good to have an alternative for GitHub. It's because they do their own thing to do what they think is important for organization and for us as a developer to use now. Though also within it, they also talk about how GitLab is a remote company and all that. So yeah, anything want to add on this?
Yep.
No. It's a cool story lah. Put it this way, it's a very cool story. Now let's go to this one. This is making me a bit angry. But it could be nothing. It could be nothing because
It's basically a fee collection.
yeah. So they want to regulate cloud services in the name of security, and all that. I don't agree with it, not because security is not important, because they are vague on what is cloud services. Uh, they are also vague on how. They're also vague. They're also vague. What do we get for? What do we get from actually? What do whoever get?
Okay,
They get a
let
cloud
me
license.
interpret it. It basically means that
Yeah,
if you're gonna provide service
you have to pay for license. But why?
that involves like hosting it outside that
Yeah,
the government or the GLC gonna use, you're
yeah,
gonna pay for the license, which is 2,500 ringgit per year,
yeah,
and also by their. It's not when you pay you get it. You need their approval as well,
yeah.
and then
Yes,
is that if anything happens, I mean, it's my interpretation is if anything happens, they know who to find.
yes, yeah. Correct. So it's not that regulation is bad, but in this case, it's more like you have regulation, you have
I
to
would
do your
I would
own.
say the problem stems with what sort of benefit do we get beside I mean we have to it's another yet another fee we have to pay
Correct.
in order
That
to do
so that's
business.
the biggest problem. But that being said, web hosting and client server activity will be exempted. So what this means primarily is people like us probably definitely won't be affected. So I do not know what this actually means,
No,
because
it
does it
means
means
that
that
if they're gonna use your service, like let's say you have a SaaS or something that hosts
yeah,
on your site, you have to get a license.
Yeah,
But
but
if
that
the whole
hosting a client server.
yeah, but it also means that the whatever, but there's gonna no. It's actually to protect the government and the GLC. Is that what if any they're not gonna they're not gonna like let's say they're not gonna insure or they're not gonna like guarantee that they're gonna be able to help out if anything goes wrong if you use something that is not certified.
Yeah, yeah. So,
So
but
if this is a very good example, if you really if everything is really outside, you don't actually need to get it. But
correct.
it's also sort of like a warning to the people that gonna use it. Like it's gonna be like if anything goes wrong, like we cannot help you,
Yeah,
or
and
something like
also
your ass and your ass gonna be fried.
yes. So let's say one of the bigger thing that I do have concern with is, does this impact individual developer? As let's say you're indie
Yes,
developer. Yeah, it
yes,
will, right?
yep. It's basically it's basically a directory that you have to pay to do business,
Yeah.
and also it's also a directory to to know who actually screw up.
Yes.
The good thing
But
if they executed it well, actually, but the problem is that they only have this thing. They don't have a clear directive. There's
yes.
I'm actually okay if the government wants to have a stricter way of like to make sure companies handle uh individual data more. I mean, in
Yes.
a more proper way, but this is not covered in this document.
Correct. So I do not know what do. Okay, so I do not know what's the step, what's the actual action, and whatnot.
Yeah,
Okay, in the real world, when you have a building, so when you get your cert and all that,
yeah.
you have inspection.
But
So meaning,
the silver lining for this is that it also give a sort of like a go ahead for the government service to if as long as it is certified, you can use
yeah,
the cloud service.
correct.
But I
But
don't like the ambiguity of this. It might be
yes,
too. I mean, probably there's a more detail that I miss out.
correct.
Yeah.
So, and also I suspect the client server may give a lot of exemption, but I need more detail. To be honest, I really need more detail, uh, because individual developers might be impacted, but if it's for private
No,
citizens, they probably
might
don't
be
care too
impacted.
much.
Swimming, it's not gonna
Yeah,
be impacted if you host your code within their infrastructure.
yeah,
It's only when you are hosting it on your own infra that you are going to provide this service to
yeah.
them. It
Okay,
depends on the type of service that you're gonna provide. If it's
yeah,
like doing the traditional way, we host it within their own infra. Is you don't have to get it.
right.
Is this the reason why Unify stopped the NAT thing,
No,
IPv4,
the
so
So,
net thing
people
is
can't
more likely
host
to
their
be
own thing?
IPv4. It's
I
more
think
like
it's
Yeah,
IPv4.
well, it's another thing as well because now you're
I
not
do get.
publicly accessible. You can't serve your. I mean, you can't be a host, right? And then
Actually, not
it's
true
not like this.
because the math is like this lah. People like us that knows what to how to use a public IP. There's already enough of those that are already on the higher tier network.
you gotta make it. You gotta make if it's not gonna be straightforward. You need sort of
Correct,
like
correct,
punch through of the net that you cannot control.
correct.
Yeah.
But
Sort of like
for
normally like last time back in the days, like I know Maxis they use their internal they don't use public IP.
yes,
So normally last time at least we had to call Maxis to give us a public IP.
correct.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah,
this
but
one is
this announced by
different.
TM to not have it anymore.
Correct. But for TM is actually below 100 megabit here, and people like us that know that is a bit more advanced tend to be on the higher bandwidth here.
Assuming you
And
forgot about where we stay at.
yeah,
Yeah, it depends on your. It depends on on the area where you stay.
correct.
It can still
So
affect like certain places.
yes. So either way, this is something I keep still going on. At minimum, this will impact data center investment. So the cloud providers to come in to set up. So currently, the two big ones that's already in Malaysia is Microsoft and Alibaba. A few want to come in.
Microsoft, I don't think Microsoft is doing public offering of their services of Malaysian
correct.
server.
But yeah,
If you want to count the server, like we have Google server here as well.
yes,
We have Cloudflare servers, but they are not servers that we can choose to use. I think the only one is AliCloud. I'm not sure about that. I need to check about it.
Correct. So that's actually something I need to watch lah, because at minimum it will impact that. With more detail, there is probably more, which is actually annoying. But for
it's still
now,
coming soon from the Azure website.
Yeah. But let's see how it goes lah. If they think the Malaysian government business is big
It's
enough,
gonna be good, but it's in a way it's actually a nod to the government agencies and GLC to use stats, but I would like it to be clearer. As in,
correct.
I like the direction if it's really to protect the data and stuff like that.
Yes. And I hope that they actually do more like actual license, even though a lot of people don't think the actual license too much. They do something. You still have to do the inspection of a building, for example, but not for software. You don't have that yet. I'm going to move to the next one, and this is the final one. I think we're going to spend 30 minutes rant about this.
Do you want to run through this?
No, I don't think so. But this is actually interesting because we had 100 threads that every developer should know.
We like this kind of echo chamber hit piece.
Correct. But I'm going to say this: different developer have different 100 Ds, right? Yeah. And I think this is.
I mean that is actually okay because
yes.
I mean we should embrace diversity that way.
Correct. So for example, there is a developer that says that senior developers should have strong opinion. Well, in this case, I won't be a senior developer, even though people think I am, because I don't have a strong opinion
should be the strong opinion should be debatable. It's okay to have a strong opinion, but
yes,
it's you're not gonna lose anything by changing your opinion as well. It's okay to change
correct.
If there's something that is better.
Correct. So in my case, I have no strong opinion on anything. I mean, I can tolerate JavaScript. I can work with it. I cannot tolerate COBOL. Seriously, I cannot tolerate COBOL. I can tolerate Java. I mean, even
have a look. Have a look at this list. It's very interesting. You don't actually need to look through it. I actually just shared I shared the title only like.
Correct. But one of these is like there's always exception to most rules, and this is the only thing I agree with 100% actually.
Some of these are actually if I think there are a few books that on the what we call that on the list on our list that covers all these things.
Correct.
Like for example, the mythical man month and things like that.
Yes.
Or like so some of these are actually covered already. It's just that if for those that I mean were not exposed to those books,
yes,
some of these are actually repeating some of the points anyway.
Correct. So another thing that I agree with, learn your bloody HTML. So I don't think that you should replace HTML over CSS, but I get his point.
No, it's also dependent on context. It's not that it's superior. If you're working on design, it's pure CSS is fine.
Correct.
The thing about this is actually building websites.
Yes. So either way, go through the list. This 100 list, 100 plus list. I'm not going to go through it. Do you want to share your opinion on?
No opinion. This we just we have our own opinion, but if you don't understand, don't agree, it's fine. It's that.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, it's opinion. Wrong. It's you're okay to not like it.
Correct. So, what to do a live test for this? I didn't test this yet though.
Yeah, let's try it then.
Yeah. What
Why
could
do you
go
need
wrong,
it as
right?
a serverless? Why don't
Why
you
don't you
just do it
use a
as
cron job?
no, not that, well, not a cron job, but like, when you compile the site, you can do
Huh?
it at time of compilation.
Oh
Because
yeah.
when
So
you're
the thing
compiling
is,
it, we're statically generating the site anyway.
yeah, but the thing is now I don't want to write a local application. Okay, so first big reason I need an
Yeah,
excuse to
well,
practice my serverless
yeah, I
because
thought
that is
so.
what my company use, and
Mm.
I can't keep using company time to experiment on thing all the time. That's one.
Why
That's the
not?
primary
That's the
reason.
perfect way to
Yeah,
explore something.
you
Have
test in
someone else
production.
pay for you.
Especially tomorrow is the best time to test your production
Yeah.
because you have
Let's
2 days of free time to fix it.
yeah. Let me try something else. Let me. What is the best website to test this?
Uh,
News dot
what is
y
this?
combinator.
Smashingmagazine.com.
Oh, okay.
Go for this is difficult to parse. Go to Smashing Magazine, and then one of the articles.
Okay. This one.
Yeah, because at least this one would at least respect like the OG tags or whatever. Like this is we know this is a well formed HTML page because
Correct.
they talk
Okay.
about HTML, right? So
URL event. So the second reason to there's an error. What error? There's error in the JSON event. Oh, okay.
colon.
Yes. Okay, so unable to no. I already add that to part of the requirements. Why is that? Also,
Yeah.
number
So
two is I don't want to write a command line application, CLI application, because I want people to submit. I want people to submit as well. So I want to have an opportunity to use the bot to submit a URL as well. So it won't be something that just I use, right? DevKami tools. La la, bus maker, CD bus maker. Fire, request. VIM, VIM. You know what? I'm going to share my full screen just because. Just because. Stop screen. Share. Share screen. Entire screen. Okay. Then does with URL. LSB plus. Oh, I'm an idiot. CP bus maker. Also make bus requirements to make bus with URL. Yeah, and make. So one thing I like about this over serverless framework, dependencies are set up. And also I need beautiful soup. God damn it. Give me a moment. VIM / poetry log beautiful. Okay, beautiful soup for. So one thing I like about SAM over serverless framework, I'm going to do this on SAM, is SAM can actually deploy the dependency by 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 application. But the catch is, I suspect that this means that I cannot have a shared library. It's going to be very weird, lah. So you're seeing how I deploy SAM right now, right?
What
Yeah,
is
the
that?
big thing speaker.
This AWS SAM, serverless application model, is a tools by AWS to deploy application, serverless application. So I
it
thought
just connects to the AWS serverless.
this will actually generate cloud formation. This will generate the cloud formation, and as you see, they actually use this. Then they generate the chain set. Then it's up to date. Why?
Yeah. Well, while you're doing that, you notice that
Yeah.
I'm.
Huh?
Probably Chileong would be better because now he can see my avatar and I'm just playing a video
Yeah.
back.
He's so you notice that you notice that the system is
Yeah.
actually not. It's a replay.
Here I
So this,
am.
yeah,
Sam.
while you're experimenting, I'm also experimenting with something I can
Yeah.
use for my meetings. Like especially the long meetings, I'll probably just record myself,
Yep.
maybe 10 seconds, and then just do it.
And-
And then just
Yeah,
have
until they are asked, until you speak up.
Yeah, well, if once they speak up, then I'll just go back here to
Yep.
this, and then sorry, I think I just lagged.
It is like just now. It was like you can just say you're practicing like when ventriloquist, right?
Yeah.
Oh damn it! I don't understand. Why the hell I can't deploy this?
It always doesn't work when you try to demo.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
maybe while swimming is debugging this, so I took this is a vertical mouse. So because I just want
How does
to
it
try,
work?
Well, it's still a mouse. It's just that when you use it, your hand is vertical.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
So
I'm an
it's
idiot.
instead of doing it like this, your hands are like this. So and then you do it like you scroll, and so it apparently helps with repetitive stress injury or something. The RSSI, I don't know what the other S is.
Repetitive strain. Repetitive strain.
Stress injury.
RSI,
Yeah.
Yeah.
registry injury.
RSI, yeah. RSI, yeah. So it's let's see, because I don't experience it yet. Although sometimes I get tired when I use the mouse a lot, like clicking on like UX stories or those things. But let's see if this is going to help. Like I don't want to experience that, so I'm trying this out.
So if you look at here, it's actually cloud formation. So they're generating the cloud formation.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
So what's the plan of the buzz maker? So someone submits. Actually, why not just like watch the channel in Slack, like
then
what do you call this? The URLs there.
because my computer don't run 24 hours, so I can. So yeah.
Do you have a Raspberry Pi, right?
I'm out of plug, to be honest. I'm out of plug. I'm out of place to safely put this because my room is full of dust and those things are bad for electronics.
No, it's fine. It's a Raspberry Pi. It's not sensitive. Not that sensitive, right?
Yeah, and my the only thing is very close to the window, so when it was raining, that might be a problem, etc.
Yeah, because it needs to watch it, right? I was wondering if there is an app, like a Slack app, to push it to Firebase or like a Google Sheets or something.
So it's better
And then
than
just read
bot.
through it.
Yeah, it's,
But it's fine. It's fine if it's within the free quota.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
but it's slow.
yes, it can be, but so is serverless framework. So one thing about this versus serverless framework is you have to do it's a two-step process. You have to build the chain set, then actually deploy the chain set. But one thing I like about this is a thing I do like about this is it's officially supported by AWS. So and also it so far had a few things that also serverless framework does provide, like setting up events and all that. So while waiting for this to uh, done, so blah blah, template. So uh, so you can use event, and you can use also event. You can use the S3 event and whatnot. You can set up layers. So if just standard basic use case for serverless, it does work. And the thing that don't work in serverless also don't work here. So for example, SAM allows you to do offline testing and all that. Serverless framework do have that. Uh, SAM allows you to do local invoke. Uh, they do, this also do that themselves. But here's a more interesting thing. So this is actually a sample event in JSON. So this is how you do this is actually how you do quote unquote unit tests because the JSON is complicated. So what they suggest they actually provide a template for the payload that you're expected to use. So you want to write tests, you can use this payload or write it yourself, your call. But if you do use this, then the template is there for you to fill in and just use now. Then you just write your text lah, but the test is by default not there lah. They have integration and all that. Oh, they do have that. Interesting. So either way, that this is one of the extra things they provide lah. And yeah, because serverless essentially, I don't think they use SAM. They use something else, but this is an alternative to serverless framework lah. It's actually very interesting. Now, I think it's already deployed. Is it deployed? Is it deployed? Is it deployed? It's deployed. Let me restart it. It might fail. It might fail. Yep, here you are. Test. Right away. JSON is not right away. The blend body. What? Oh, I know why. The reason is oh shit. Because in serverless framework, this thing are a string.
Don't you have to escape your stuff?
Yeah, I'm doing it right now.
Oh.
I'm doing it right now. Yes. It will fail for other reasons, or that timeout. I need to figure out all this configuration. For example, sometimes I realize that 30 seconds is not enough. I don't know anymore. But it's a cool adventure lah. It's a cool thing lah. I learned a lot from this project. Even though you're right, maybe using serverless for this is not really the most practical thing on the planet.
I understand. It's the point is to practice.
Yeah,
So normally we
but
practice with some silly stuff.
yes,
Yeah.
I need to venture more on this. Even though like I'm not gonna use them, I'm gonna need to
Yeah.
try them out as well.
correct. I think this is failing as well. So another thing that I did try out, which is also interesting, is actually, the summarizer. This is actually using a layer. So I created a layer for NLTK. But this one I'm actually using a Python, a library that people already use to generate. The reason why I need to put this into a layer is because NLTK requires data, and serverless frame on a serverless, those things are ephemeral, meaning every time you have to restart and download, it doesn't make sense now, right? So what we do is Is timeout after 30 seconds? I think this is failed.
But does it
timeout.
mean that? But does it mean that it has like easy integration with the rest of the AWS services like S3 and stuff for persistence?
Yeah, correct. Because even it doesn't show here. You have database proxy and all that, but one of the main thing is by default you already have. By default, you already have auto installed. For example, you use Python or whatever library you need. That's the first one. And the second one is by default. So at least from there you can already integrate with everything with AWS already. So for example, for S3, you can access S3, but you need to set up your permission.
I think that Tristan that I'm looking at is the fake Tristan. Oh. Yeah, because I see it repeats itself.
Yeah.
So it's difficult to. Sorry.
So you can integrate with all the tools limited by your permission. But what doesn't work for me now is I don't think network is working. So by default, serverless doesn't connect to network. I need to set up.
That's a bit annoying. There's a lot of things to set up for something that you.
Correct.
You thought like serverless is supposed to like just work and you just need to focus on your code, right? That's the selling point of serverless.
Yeah. So you don't have to worry about the rest of the
systems. And now you're telling me that there are things that you still need to set up.
I think it's just that people are doing more and more with serverless. I mean, previously it was just like a script runner.
Yes. So for example, I need to set up allocate this, then set up that, then allocate elastic IP. Do I have it? I do have it. Then gateway, create gateway. I think by default it doesn't actually do networking as well. It's meant for you to only use things internally. So as a result, it doesn't work all the time. Last chance. If this doesn't work, I'm going to call it. I didn't sacrifice a goal to the demo girl, but I expect this to fail because I didn't test this. I did not test this code, to be honest. It will fail. It will do another timeout.
I think I just got reminded that we forgot one. Just now in the past corner, we forgot about one thing, like the one we talked about before the show, but one of the links, like which I forgot. I need to check the chat.
Security group. Oh yeah. So one thing that we don't cover, we only barely covered, is the Apple release. That's one thing already.
Oh, not that. You actually had it up. I need to check.
Let me see.
Right. You actually had it up, but. I forgot. I don't remember.
Okay.
It's just.
No. Run reachability.
Alibaba notes.
Okay, so did it work?
No, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. I know that serverless by default it doesn't work well. It doesn't work well when you try to access the outside world. Partly security, so that you can't use server. You don't easily use the serverless framework as a botnet. So that's one reason to do that as well. So
you want to show
everything
VSCode.dev?
need to be on VPC. Huh?
You want to show VSCode.dev to like that's a final thing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's interesting. Just and what I'm impressed is that if you enable the sync, the setting sync, it's actually set up your extension for you, just like your desktop environment.
Yeah, let me do that.
But you do need to use Chrome because of the if you want to edit files locally. Otherwise, you have to upload and download things. So
Yep.
Firefox, for example,
Yep.
is not does not have the file
But
system
but
API.
it's still functional if you're doing a cloud edit.
Yeah. Yeah, so you can open a folder or open a remote repository, and then you can actually
No,
edit the things.
Yeah.
let me open this whole thing.
Apparently, according to the discussion, is that it's very useful for especially in the uni where they don't have to worry about everybody to set up the right environment first.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, which
Because you
actually
just log
something
in.
that
Yeah.
which is also something that we encountered last time whenever we do try to conduct workshop.
Yeah.
Yeah, to make sure everybody got everything set up.
Yeah. See,
But
you
it
have
doesn't.
syntax highlighting for Python.
Yeah. This is a mistake. This is a mistake. For, let's say changes.
Yeah. So
But
you're editing your local file system through a browser.
yeah,
See, the
correct.
browsers can do anything now. It's an operating system. Well, yeah,
Yes.
Chrome OS is an operating system.
Then this is the summarizer. Ta-da!
Mm.
I wrote a summarizer in 53 lines of code. Ta-da! Ta-da!
Yeah. So yeah, I this is so if you clicked on the show the announcement on the top on the blue bar at the top,
Yeah.
read the announcement. So yeah, it was announced. I think today was it today or yesterday? 20 yes,
2 days
yeah,
back.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh, it's only the 21st today, so it's yesterday. I think it's today because this is the time lag. I think it's more
Yeah.
evening of 20th.
Mm-hmm.
This is the announcement. So I was really interested in it. I tried it out and it's good.
Yeah.
I guess the use case here is now you can, I think you're able to host a dev server as well,
Yep.
and you will let's say you buy or you rent a 4 GB, so that's about like what, $10 Linode, let's say. So it's $10 Linode per month, and
Mhm.
then you go somewhere on vacation. As long as you have an internet access and you have your
Yep.
tablet, you can continue working because you can
Yes.
just like get your files,
Yeah,
etc.
I think 5 is still all right for if it's just gonna be as a backup.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is interesting. I think I might do it sometime soonish when I'm bored.
Yeah.
Let me finish my CD stuff first.
And the problem, I guess the problem is now that you don't have a public IP, right? This would have been great if, let's say you have a public IP here, so you can just
Yeah.
expose your like, let's say a VM
Yeah.
on your computer, and then like go through the public IP. But yeah, you can't do it right now.
What's the
I guess you
tunneling
can do a
website
tunnel.
again? Do you remember the tunneling website you always use?
No,
Local is something that exposes local environment to the public. What's the name? It's,
I forgot.
it's I used to use that a lot. It's a security risk, but I wonder if we can potentially use that.
Yeah. Well, there are ways. I'm sure people will be writing articles on this. People have been waiting on this. Like there were like Cloud9 or something. I forgot. Like there are many cloud coding startups all throughout the years. And
There was Cloud9.
Yeah,
Then
there were
it
a
got
lot.
acquired. Yeah, quite a few.
But I think this is like going to be um, the successful one.
Yeah, and also there's a self-hosting one if you're paranoid.
Mm-hmm.
ngrok. So let's say you do ngrok, it's possible, it's dangerous as fuck, but it's possible, I suppose.
You don't even need. I don't think it can go through ngrok because of unless you pay for it because
Oh yeah,
the file transfer limit.
yeah. That's true. But I have a public server, my Linux, for my other sandbox for other thing. I can
So
put
yeah,
it
so you
there,
can do
lah.
an SSH tunnel both ways. I think you can.
Yeah.
So you tunnel you SSH, you connect from your local to the Linode, and then you open a port that that connects both computers. So There are ways.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are. Like I've done it before when I was
Yeah.
connecting through a SQL server somewhere, and I had to like go through a Linode.
Yeah, but here
But
you
this is
say
this
that we're not
interesting.
yeah, this is interesting. Maybe we're going to try that soon. How soon I do not know, but soon. Let's see. Let's see. So that being said, it's way over time. Thanks for indulging us, but la la.
What do you have in
So
mind for like in store for the next?
next week is a horror story. We're going either I'm going to play some
Oh.
horror game for you, or
Or we talk about
the-
production horror story.
yes, production horror story. So
Yeah.
we're gonna talk about production horror story.
Yeah. Normally it's you drop your production database.
Yes.
What's
yeah.
that?
You
There,
drop
there
your
was a
product-
topic, right? Topic in one of the Facebook groups about that.
Yeah, I fuck up on something.
But
So either way, this next week. What happened the week after? I have no idea. To be honest. I totally have no idea. Do you want me to go through my experience of doing serverless again for you, or you already covered everything?
up to you. If there's
Let's say I
any
may cover
interesting-
that deeper. I might cover that deeper once I'm done. Maybe explains.
But I think
How the summarizer work,
let's cut
but
the live demo, but more about like
Yeah.
like the
An actual
summary
working
of
thing.
things. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
just a
Maybe
summary,
test
like
the
even like something like a slide.
Yeah. So with that said, that's next month. So I think thanks for indulging us. We should say goodbye now.
Okay,
So
so now you can see the real Tristan. Oh no, this is a fake Tristan.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. See y'all, people.
Yeah. Good night. See you guys next week.
Bye.
Yes.
See you.